Deep Threat Sports Network fans, hey, welcome back. It's our favorite episode of the week. Tonight you have Nolan, Bryant, and myself, and we are going to get after here tonight. You know how we do things here on our preview episode. We have our Book It segment. We do usually some casual conversation in the beginning, talk about whatever the latest and greatest is, whether that's some coaches, whether that's now we're going to have the playoff conversation because the committee is releasing their new playoff rankings, and then we're going to get into our main game preview, and we break those games down. Tonight, we actually don't really have much of a quickie segment, just one game on the quickie segment. We threw 6 games in the main game breakdown. So, at this point in the season, some of these games don't mean as much anymore because you see, like last week, teams like Penn State, they have a big game again this week. Well, it's not as relevant anymore because Penn State's just really not that good. So we don't feel like wasting your time and ours talking about teams like that. We want to focus on the teams that matter and the big games at hand. So 6 games for you on the main game tonight, 1 quick game in that preview segment. And then like I said, we're going to dive into some playoff conversations here in the beginning. But I wanted to let everybody know that I busted out some more Deep Threat Sports Network gear for the night's episode. We got this nice camo hats. We got different models in there, different camo patterns, whatever your liking is in there. And I busted out the shopping books and buying hooks hoodie tonight for the Book It segment, fellas. I felt like it was due. But don't forget, when we get to that point, Nolan is leaving the chat. We're making Nolan leave the chat. I'm going to completely take him off the monitors so we get his bad luck off the screen so we can do things the way we like to do here, Bryant and myself, because we are back to 500, gentlemen. We have been scratching and clawing all season, and we have done it. We are back, and now it's time to make some coin. So Nolan, Bryant, fellas, how we doing?
Doing good. Excited for another week. People Absolutely. Talk about maybe it's a down week, but with so many teams still in the playoff picture, no week's a down week.
Yeah, with the parity we've seen, it could look totally different after this weekend. I don't foresee that happening, but you never know with how this season has gone thus far.
I mean, it's a down week from an overall standpoint, and let's put a little emphasis on that because this season has been so damn crazy that like the first 8 weeks of the season, there was like 12 games that had like crazy ass matchups. You had 7 of those 12 were top 25 ranked matchups. And you see some of those teams kind of go away at this point, but it doesn't mean you don't have a team in the lower like 20 through 25 rankings or even a non-ranked opponent that can't sneak up and punch you in the mouth because they're teetering right there on the edge. So you'll see that in some of these games we're going to cover tonight. I think there is still 3, if I'm not mistaken, 3 of our 6 are top 25 ranked matchups, maybe 4. I don't know off the top of my head here. But yeah, I mean, still a good slate of games, fellas. I mean, let's not take anything away from what we got this weekend.
No, it's not going to be an absolute just, crazy highly touted matchups every week for sure. But like you said, there's still some good nuggets in these week's slate of games.
Oh, there's still some teams that can get got this weekend.
Yeah.
So the first thing we're going to do here, first order of business, we're going to get into the CFP's top 25 rankings. And if you've been following college football, we're sure you've seen these by now. We're just going to read you the top 12. That way you know who they got in the top 12. Kind of everything outside of that doesn't necessarily matter at this point. So we have Ohio State 1, Indiana 2, Texas A&M 3, Alabama 4, Georgia 5, Ole Miss 6, BYU 7, Texas Tech 8. You see Oregon in here at 9, Notre Dame 10, Texas 11, Oklahoma 12. Nolan, I'm going to kick it to you first. Tell me what one you were shocked the most by here in these rankings.
To be honest, I'm not really shocked by a bunch of what they have up here. I think they got it pretty right for the first go round. I'm not really upset about too much in these rankings. I know that's a little different from the last episode where Brian and I were arguing a little bit, but I can't get fired up about these top 12. I shouldn't say that. I can't get fired up about where they placed people in the top 12. I think they're pretty good so far.
Yeah, what about you, Brian?
I thought maybe Texas was a little bit too high, but I don't really know who you'd move above them that's below them. So, like Nolan said, I think they got it pretty close. But, man, just looking at this, I see a lot of opportunities for movement, especially jolting way up and then some teams possibly falling way out of this too. So, obviously, it's going to change quite a bit, but I think we're going to see more drastic changes by the time this is all said and done than you would probably see in previous seasons.
Yeah, for me, when I kind of saw this, I was actually kind of shocked that, Oregon gets the 9 spot and you have BYU and Texas Tech above them. And they set that up completely for a big 7-8 matchup per the CFP rankings for this first week after the rankings come out in this BYU Texas Tech football game. Obviously not shocked at all by the top four. Our top four is very similar. Few shuffles in the rankings there. Honestly, our top 12 is pretty similar to what they have. I'm by no means shocked you see Notre Dame and Texas get up in here at all. I think you have teams like Louisville and Virginia who are making a case as to why they're on the outside looking in. But I'm also not surprised to see the ACC get punished a little bit. Nolan is an ACC guy with his Florida State fandom, but kind of talked about how the ACC really sucks right now, and he's not wrong. And I think everybody agrees with that. Also, I'm here to tell you that I am pretty damn confident that you're not going to get both those Big 12 teams that are in there right now in the playoffs.
I think the only way that happens is if it's a close game this week. Then they meet in the Big 12 championship, and it's a close game. Whoever wins this one, if the other team wins the Big 12 championship, I think that's the only way you're going to get both. But you guys know from listening the last couple of weeks, I don't think BYU's staying in there. So
you are a BYU hater if I've ever seen one.
They've been playing with fire.
Yeah, they have been, and I'm not surprised to see them this high. I mean, they are undefeated, right? They're doing what they're supposed to do to this point. Let's compare these a little bit to we released them on Monday's show, but let's compare these a little bit to our top 12 as well right here. And for the most part, gentlemen, it's the same teams. But we do have Louisville in ours. We do have Memphis in ours because obviously a G5 team is going to have to get that. Mm-hmm. So we have missed at the 12th spot. And then we do have Notre Dame and Texas on our first four out, which they have in, which we replaced Memphis and Louisville on ours with Notre Dame and Texas on theirs. Pretty damn – I mean, not pretty damn. It is the same damn thing.
Well, Memphis would be in on theirs as well.
Correct.
But just not – if we did rankings top 25, it would be very similar.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm anxious to see how this shakes out. You know, we have a couple of these playoff teams in some touted matches this week. Memphis has got a hell of a matchup against Tulane. BYU, Texas Tech, one of those two teams are going to eat each other right here. Oregon has a matchup against Iowa that's going to be a little bit tricky. Alabama, LSU is always tricky. And Texas A&M, I mean, I'm not trying to sound like a homer here, but they do have a tricky one against Mizzou in Columbia. So anxious to see how that goes. Notre Dame is just resume building at this point. We'll touch on the Navy-Notre Dame game. I think that has a chance to not even be talked about on our review show, personally. I don't know how you guys feel about that, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But anything else on these rankings that you guys want to talk about before we get going? No? Okay.
Nothing on rankings.
All right, gentlemen. Well, let's get into it right here then. Let's talk a little Tulane at Memphis. This game is Friday tomorrow night, the 7th at 8 p.m. on ESPN. Memphis sitting at -3.5, over under 55.5. Tulane 6-2, had a bad loss last week. Memphis 8-1, looking to lock up this spot in the playoffs. Let's not forget, I'm going to remind everybody this week again, I'm sure you know by now, if you have YouTube TV, I'm sorry. You're not going to be able to watch this football game unless you have other methods to watch college football. Real quick, though, Dave on our show gave me some real good information yesterday. He said, hey, man, I called YouTube TV, threw a fit, told them that we do this for a job, and I can't watch college football, so we have a problem. So you know what they did for Dave and myself now? Gave us a full refund of our money. So we took our talents elsewhere, baby. We went to Hulu. Both of us got a full refund, and now we're on Hulu. So make sure you're doing those same things. Hey, drop Deep Threat Sports Network if you want to. Tell them you can't keep up with the podcast because they're taking your football away. Maybe you'll get you a full refund too. So make sure you're doing that so you can get your money back. But, Brian, what do you have in this football game? What are you looking forward to? What do you think one of these teams need to do to stand out from the other one this weekend?
I would say I feel like this is a bigger game for Tulane. They've been kind of slipping as of late. They got destroyed by San Antonio last week, and that game wasn't even that really close for that matter. But they're a good football team. Retzlaff has played well since he came in, but obviously I think Memphis is the better team. They just got to keep doing what they've been doing. This will not be an easy game for them whatsoever, but they're still going to have to play a complete game in this game. Tulane's going to give them the best shot, but I think that Memphis offense is going to be a little bit too much for Tulane's defense, who has been vastly struggling as of late. And I think that's going to allow Memphis to prevail in this one.
Nolan, what you got, buddy?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same thing here. I think Memphis just has a stronger team overall. Really what I'm looking for out of Memphis, though, I'm looking for Brendan Lewis rushing the ball. I know a couple weeks ago he came back when we weren't really sure he was going to, and then ran across a couple stats. Out of Memphis's total offense, over 20% of their total yards come from explosive run plays, so run plays over 10 yards. 35% of those explosive run plays are Brendan Lewis running the ball. Sometimes design runs, sometimes a scramble, but I think it's going to be another big game running the ball. And I mean, Memphis has a couple good running backs too. So if I'm Memphis, I want to get the ball on the ground first. Let's start rolling.
See, I'm going to push back a little bit, Brian, on your take that it's a bigger game for Tulane. And the reason that is because Memphis is truly in control of their own destiny at this point. They take care of business here. They are more than likely solidifying that spot as the G5 team to make the playoffs. Talked early on in the season how this was one of the two teams I was taking to make the playoffs, and they're taking care of business up to this point. Now, with that being said, if I'm Memphis, comparing to what Nolan said, I like it. I agree. Run the football, get it established. But what I saw last week is Owen McCown absolutely threw all over this Tulane defense from UTSA. I mean, absolutely threw all over them. And Brendan Lewis can spin the ball a little bit. So if I'm Memphis, I'm looking to establish that run game, build off that run game, and really get that play action deep pass going. And I think Memphis can do it. Also, I'm actually really shocked Tulane hasn't taken a step up because I know their coach is a hot name in the coaching ranks right now to go get a bigger job. But sometimes you see teams take steps back when that becomes a headline in their locker room and they get a little nervous and it doesn't always go to plan. So that's what I think is kind of going on with Tulane right now. And I think a lot of people thought Tulane was going to be that G5 team that Memphis is right now. I love everything this Memphis football team is doing. I think this is a really damn good football team. Also, this Tulane defense really, really, really struggles getting off the field on 3rd and 4th downs. Teams are excellent at extending drives against this Tulane defense, and I think Memphis has the offense to do that, like Nolan and I have just said, and Bryant too, with Lewis's legs. It is an extra dynamic that you have to watch when you're playing this Memphis offense, and I don't think they're going to have any problem moving the ball in this Tulane defense, fellas.
I agree.
Bryant, you have something? Look like you had something.
No, I'm good. You guys hit the nail on the head on this one.
Absolutely.
Well, I do have one thing I just thought of. I wasn't necessarily this is a bigger game for Tulane, as in not saying it isn't for Memphis. It definitely is. But I feel like Tulane, if they win this game, they have more to gain, I guess I should say, than Memphis.
Memphis got more to lose, Tulane more to gain type thing.
Yeah, Memphis is just trying to stay a course, whereas Tulane can really catapult themselves up with the win.
Yeah, and I think Tulane gets their name in the conversation a little bit again, depending on what some of these other teams like North Texas, who I think is right up there behind Memphis. I also think USF would be ahead of Tulane for me right now. So they're still in the conversation, but it's looking less and less every week. And if you drop this one, to your point, they're done and gone, and we're no longer talking about Tulane football this season. The next game that we're going to talk about here is BYU at Texas Tech. This is Saturday the 8th at 11 a.m. on ABC. Texas Tech -10, over under 52.5. BYU's 8-0, Texas Tech 8-1. This is for all the marbles, in my opinion, in the Big 12, right? There's nobody else that we're necessarily looking at to pin the Big 12 on right now outside of this game. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but this is the Big 12 winner for me.
Yeah, I agree completely. I'm not sure what this line is, though. Texas Tech -10, I don't think many of the Big 12 teams are a whole lot different than each other, which is, I think, why BYU is really winning some of these games. I talk about it every week. They get the benefit of fumbles every single week. The ball just bounces their way. They're plus 11 on the turnover margin this year so far. That means they're getting more than one every single game turnover that goes there, or turnover margin that goes their way. They're averaging like 1.2, 1.25 every single game. I'd really be interested to see if BYU has a just neutral turnover margin game. Are they still going to be able to beat some of these teams who I think they're very similar to? Just like you just shook your head, my answer is no. They will not, but we'll see.
I think Texas Tech is and I've been saying it all season, and they made me look bad at one point, but I'm going to stand on business when I say this, that I think that Texas Tech is a Big 12 team that looks different than the rest of the Big 12 teams. I watch this team week in and week out, and outside of the quarterback struggles and quarterback injuries that they've had, There is nobody in the Big 12 that matches up offensive line and defensive line like Texas Tech does.
I mean,
I think
Utah bullied them in their game.
they did, and that's why I said the one game made me look stupid. But I mean, outside of that, this is no comparison. I don't think BYU matches up with them. I think BYU is going to make them earn it. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think Bear Bachmeier is going to be able to do anything like he has been against other Big 12 opponents. And their schedule so far, it's been relatively weak. I think David Bailey, we talk about him often on this show, is an absolute freak. He's going to be all over the field. I said it on the review show, I think, that David Bailey this week's going to put his face mask right in Bear Bachmeier's chest, and it's going to be the last time they run his direction. LJ Martin is back for this game, I read. As long as that still stands, that's a big get back for BYU. This line, Nolan, is one of those trap lines that Bryant and I talk about a little bit. It looks fishy. If it's fishy, just avoid it. Don't get caught in the vortex. Stay away from it. There is a reason it's -10. And Texas Tech at home might be part of that. I don't know, but I think they dominate the trenches, and I think they kick BYU's ass.
Oh, we saw it last week with Cincinnati and Utah. It was literally the same line.
Oh, and it got us, dude. We bit that.
It got us bad.
It absolutely hooked us.
We thought we were licking our chops on that one, but we definitely weren't.
We were broke like a wild horse on that one, Brian.
I even texted Colin earlier, don't touch this. We know what happens.
We don't do this.
This game, I think, I agree with Colin more. I think Texas Tech is kind of 1A in the Big 12, and everybody else that's in contention is 1B. In this game, BYU is going to have to try to be able to throw the ball somewhat. They're not going to be able to run down the throat of this Texas Tech defense like they have with some of these other teams. And I think that's going to hurt them. We haven't really seen them be able to do that efficiently this season. So I think Texas Tech is going to kind of control the ball there. And then on the flip side, BYU does not generate much pass rush whatsoever. And that's when Baron Morton excels. And so I think you're going to see him picking apart this defense at a high rate this game. So I think Texas Tech is going to be comfortable on that side of the ball. So that leans to me that Texas Tech is going to win this game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I personally don't think it's going to be relatively close either.
You know what my biggest concern for Texas Tech is? And some people are going to automatically say the run game. I don't think Texas Tech's run game is a problem at all. I love Cameron Dickey and Jacoby Williams running the football for this team. I think they're an underrated duo. My concern is I saw a tweet today, and I wish I knew who it was and remember so I could give them the credit for it. But obviously we all know Will Hammond's out. But Texas Tech quarterbacks get hurt like every game. Baron Morton's battled like 5 injuries this season. This BYU defense, like I said, will make you earn it. So if they flip this back on Texas Tech and they put their face mask in Baron Morton's chest one time, what direction do they go after that? And I hate playing the injury game, but when they're hurt so much, like I feel like it's a conversation that we can have.
Yep, I agree. And I mean, just to strengthen you guys' point a little bit, talking about the lines of scrimmage, BYU's top 25 graded in pass blocking, top 5 graded in run blocking. But then you look at it, Texas Tech is top 5 in run stop and then creating pressure on the opposing team's quarterback, the havoc rate that we talk about sometimes. It's a line of scrimmage game. Who's going to win the lines of scrimmage on both sides of the ball? That's going to tell you all you need to know. Because like you said, Baron Morton's bad under pressure. If they can keep him clean pocket, he picks everybody apart. But if you start getting any type of pressure on him with his injury history and just with how bad he is against a blitz sometimes, in BYU, I will give them credit. Some of their turnovers, their safeties or their defensive backs, they were jumping some of those short routes if you guys haven't seen. It's just the fumbles I really harp on. There's no way the ball can bounce to them every single time. But they really do. They jump some of those short routes. So if you're going to come with a blitz from a safety or an outside backer and you jump a couple short routes and get a short field or just a pick six, I mean, that's the turnover margin that you're talking about.
Hey, Cody gets in here talking about how he locked in some merch, came in, looks good. Hell yeah, baby. We got the shopping books and buying hooks hoodie on tonight just for the Book It segment. So that's bound to make the show make even more money. But yeah, last thing on this game, Bryant is 100% correct, who touched on it. This game is going to come down to if Barry Bachmeier can throw the football. We've seen it happen a couple times. This defense is going to make it a little bit tougher. So I'm anxious to see how this one plays out. Next game we're going to talk about here is Oregon at Iowa. Saturday the 8th at 2:30 p.m. on CBS. Oregon -6.5, over under 41.5. I don't know what to think about this football game. I see this being an Iowa win or Oregon wins by like 17 plus.
Yeah, this is a tight game, I think. I think these teams are a lot closer than it may seem. Uh, they both been playing good football, but they both haven't been playing like eye-popping football, if that makes sense. Um, Iowa's Iowa. They've been the same team for a decade plus. They have a really good defense. They're going to try to run the football and control the clock. If they can do that in this game, they have a great chance to win. Mark Gronowski has looked a lot better as of late. Still not the greatest passer like we thought he would be, but he's been efficient. On the Oregon side of the ball, defense is good as well. Can Dante Moore and these receivers and running back room kind of open it up and play a little bit higher, high flying more of an offensive side of the ball there and see if they can play better in this game because they're going to need it because Iowa's going to try to make this a possession type football game like they always do. And I think that's what they need to do to win.
Yeah, Iowa still has to win games by dragging opponents in the mud. That's just what
Yep.
they do. They make the game nasty. They muddy it up. They try to win the turnover margin. If Oregon doesn't turn the ball over in this game, Oregon's going to kick their ass. Because if I'm Oregon, why would you not just crowd the box against this Iowa offense? Gronowski looks to run. Gronowski looks to run. They look to run the ball heavy. I'm crowding the hell out of the box.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you have to if you're Oregon. Just don't let Iowa run the ball and make Gronowski beat you. I will say I'm leaning more towards the close game, the Oregon Iowa close game, kind of underneath of that spread there. And here's why. Iowa plays a very similar defense to Indiana. Very zone scheme, get pressure, and Dante Moore looked not great in that game.
No, horrible.
That's more so why I lean towards a close game rather than kind of the Oregon blowout type stuff.
Well, talking about this Iowa offense a little bit too, and how it's pretty stale and not impressive, and it's still the same old Iowa offense, or this Iowa offense is still the same old Iowa offense, is in the red zone. Like they have historically not been the best offense, but when they get to the red zone, fellas, they find the end zone. They score at a pretty high clip. They take care of the ball in the red zone. They do what they have to do when they're there. If I'm Oregon, though, I feel like this Oregon team is a totally different offense when Kenyon Sadiq is the focal point of the passing attack. And when he's not involved, they don't look like Oregon. Dante Moore doesn't look like Dante Moore. The run game doesn't go as much. Kenyon Sadiq is truly the X factor for this Oregon offense. Like it's just what it is. And I feel like if they get him involved, they're going to have a lot more success in this football game. Bryant, you got anything else?
No, I'm good.
No one?
I don't know. Just hearing you guys talk about the offense for Iowa and how really all you got to do for Oregon is stop the run game. I don't know. I almost lean more towards Oregon. Flipping it live show here, but
You're backtracking.
I am. I'm almost leaning more towards Oregon. The more I think about it, I'm not sure Iowa can do anything on offense. Their
offensive line is really, really, really good, though.
Number one in the nation, but
really, yes,
I'm not sure it matters if every time you line up, you're just like, hey, we're going to run the ball 4 times. We hope we get a first down.
Well, remember when we did our preview show and we talked about Iowa, we talked about how they have to find some playmakers and some receivers. They still haven't really done that.
Zero.
No. This is still what they struggle at, dude. And we put a lot of it on Gronowski throwing the football, but damn, dude, he's got nobody to throw the ball to.
Yeah, those guys are almost out on the outside just so they have 11 players.
Yeah, dude, you might as well go all tight end set and run the triple option. It's just I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe that's not a bad idea for Iowa.
They may call us. They may call us to come run an offense. I'm not sure. But Iowa shows up and shows out with their fans. It's not an easy place to play.
No. Yeah.
They gotta lean pretty heavy.
Oregon got a little lucky though. It's supposed to be like 70 degrees up that way this on Saturday.
And so that plays right into the hand.
They're lucky they're not playing Sunday where it's supposed to be like 25.
Right into their hands. The next game we're going to talk about here is one that has lost its luster, I feel like, a little bit, that we would have really been building up here about 7 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's LSU at Alabama, Saturday at 6:30 p.m. on ABC. This game still got, of course, the best time slot you could get, I feel like. And this game, Alabama -10, over under 49.5. LSU's 5-3, Alabama 7-1. Outside of the elephant in the room with no coach at LSU, no Brian Kelly, I should say, at LSU. Bryant, what do you have in mind for this football game?
Honestly, I think Kelly being gone is a plus. That dude is an absolute cancer. I saw somebody talking about this earlier today, and it made me kind of laugh and chuckle. And I'm sure this is happening at LSU. Do you remember when Notre Dame fired Brian Kelly, or I guess he moved, and then they Marcus Freeman walked in the locker room and they went nuts?
Yes.
Yeah.
I bet this is similar type situation. Yeah, they haven't hired a new coach yet, but these guys kind of got to weight off their shoulders.
Hey,
being gone, I think.
This was, to your point, that locker room, there was guys standing up out of wheelchairs. They were just like, oh,
literally.
Not hurt. I feel good. Ready to go.
I bet Whit Weeks is probably trying to get his
no, he's still out
this week. But yeah. As
Have
far
you
as the
looked
games
up this new coach at all? Or this interim coach?
I have not.
He's a Louisiana boy, born and raised in New Orleans, has coached at LSU twice now. He coached there previously and then started moving on different places. He invited former LSU players this week to come give pep talks and talk about, like, hey, have pride in the program type stuff. I don't know. If they're going to play hard for somebody, it might be the interim coach, just since
Cody
Kelly's not there.
Cody comes in off that announced already LSU plus 10 lock. I'm
Maybe
convinced. I'm sold. At least the first half.
But as far as this game is concerned, I feel like it's still a pretty highly touted matchup as far as must-watch fandom type thing. This game is always close, it seems like. As far as the actual football itself, I think Alabama just needs to continue what they've been doing. They need to run the football better. They've been getting better, but they've been up and down all season. Ty Simpson's going to still have to be himself. They have the much better offensive side of the ball. It's not even particularly close, I don't think. LSU's defense is very good, but they get worn down because their offensive side of the ball is not picking up their slack. And it goes the same way with LSU. Nussmeier still continues to not look completely healthy. They haven't been able to run the ball, and nobody's stepping up on the outside. They're going to have to do that in this game to even have a chance. We'll see if they can do that. It being in Tuscaloosa does not help, I don't think, either. So it's going to be a tough game for LSU. I think they come out to play hard, but I think Alabama leans on them and rolls.
In Tuscaloosa at night makes it 10 times harder than what it would have been on Saturday at 11 o'clock. Nolan, what do you got?
I think it all comes down to the offensive lines. Bama doesn't like to keep running back or tight end kind of in as an extra blocker. LSU actually, they get some pressure on people. Flip side, Alabama gets zero pressure whatsoever. But the LSU offensive line is so bad.
Not great.
I think it's an offensive line game for both teams. It just depends who's going to keep the pocket more clean, who's going to give good looks for their quarterback to kind of get the ball out quick. Nussmeier actually gets it out real quick. But
he has to.
He does. He does. If I'm Bama, I would want to play some bump and run coverage then. Get up in the LSU receiver's face. If he's going to try and get it out in 2-3 seconds, let's get up in their face and make it hard.
I'm just, to your point, if I'm Alabama, I'm not afraid of these LSU receivers like everybody's used to being afraid of these LSU receivers. They struggle at getting separation. The offensive line doesn't keep Nussmeier upright long enough for him to let plays develop. And it's not the same conversation we had all last year with the Nico thing. We know what Nussmeier's capable of, but it's like I feel like we're getting really repetitive on the front of how does Nussmeier look? Is he healthy? Is he still banged up? What does he look like? I mean, that is the same conversation we've had all season. Also, same thing as, does LSU have a run game in this game? Because they don't most of the time. And what does that defense look like without Whit Weeks? They're pretty bleak without Whit Weeks at times. Like, he truly is the front runner and the captain of that defense. They go as he goes. He's not there. How do they hold up long term with Alabama in this passing attack? Because Ty Simpson is one of the best quarterbacks in the country with completion rates. He doesn't turn the ball over. He doesn't make dumb mistakes. He gives what the defense gives him. That is what separates really good quarterbacks, especially in college, from not so great quarterbacks and teams. Is quarterbacks learn to give take what the defense gives them, and he does a very good job at that. He doesn't force dumb throws 30 yards down the field on a 3rd and 3. We have pounded the table on this show before. If it is 3rd and 3, throw the 4-yard hitch route that's open for a first down. You don't need 45 yards. Just convert on 3rd down. Bama does that so well. Ty Simpson does that so well, I should say. So I'm anxious to see how this plays out. to your point, I love the hype of getting the program mentality kind of instilled back in them, because I feel like we all on this show knew when the Brian Kelly hire happened, he was not the guy to instill the LSU mentality, the Louisiana mentality. It was not a good fit from the start. Mm-hmm. It went down in flames, and maybe that does hype them up a little bit. Maybe they do have guys standing up out of wheelchairs in practice this week ready to go. I mean, I don't know what to expect from LSU. This is a live bet type football game. You're going to know what you're going to get out of LSU early. If they got that grit in them, they can make it tight down the line. If they look flat on offense, it's going to be a long night for them.
Yep, 100% agree.
Anything else on this one, gentlemen?
No, sir.
Nope.
If LSU loses this football game handily, LSU is going to fight to make a bowl. I'll say that.
We said that 2 weeks ago.
Yes. Yes. It's going to get really dicey for them.
Yep.
This next football game, we got to talk about it just because it's Navy Notre Dame. I feel like we could glance over this one if we wanted to. We'll give it a little bit of love here. Navy at Notre Dame, Saturday the 8th. Yes, 6:30 p.m. NBC. Notre Dame, this is the biggest spread on our main game we've probably done all season. Minus 26.5, over under 56.5. Navy is 7-1, though. They are still somewhat alive. They kind of got handed it to them last game. Notre Dame 6-2, trying to make this push to make the playoffs with that name like Notre Dame. Nolan, what do you got in this one?
Couple thoughts. Notre Dame side of the ball, just give Jeremiah Love the ball. Give it to him 25 times.
We're going to have the same thoughts, all three of us right here. I guarantee it.
Don't try and get cute. Just give him the ball. From the Navy side of the game, do we think the Irish are overlooking Navy? Is this a potential trap game?
Even if they did, Nolan.
I don't know.
We dog on Marcus Freeman having those BS moments that you just shouldn't let happen. Maybe this is it.
The triple option, here's my thoughts. The triple option, if you don't have eye discipline, you start giving up chunks upon chunks upon chunks. The Notre Dame offense is good, yes. But if you can't stop a triple option team and you just don't have your eye discipline there, I mean, you're in for a fight.
Yeah. Dude, can Navy slow down Notre Dame?
Lucky one or two here or there.
They couldn't even stop Caleb Hawkins with North Texas last week.
They couldn't stop North Texas.
I understand, but I don't think Marcus Freeman is the best in-game coach.
He's not. We've said it many a times.
So if you're letting Navy hang around and it's coming down to some coaching, I don't know. I'm just saying I'm not trying to pick Navy winning the game. I'm just saying, is this a potential trap here?
I get it. You're trying to hype it up a little bit, make it a little bit better of a game. I'm with it. That is there with Marcus Freeman.
I could buy taking the points for Navy.
Yes.
6.5 for sure. Yeah. That seems a little bit high, but I think there's tape on how to defend it from last week with a much worse defense. North Texas did a pretty good job doing it. So Notre Dame has much better players on the defensive side than than North Texas does. So there's some film to look at there. But I just think Navy's just going to be an uphill battle all game here. They're going to have to go away from the run at some point and try to score some points and throw the ball a little bit, and they're just not that good at doing it.
No.
So I think Notre Dame's going to be in control of this game from the jump.
Aaron comes in and says, go Irish. You don't have to sweat this one, I don't think. If I'm Notre Dame, I'm running a goal line defense all game. I don't – why not? Why not? I mean, you guys said everything I was going to say. Notre Dame, don't overthink this. Run the ball 50 times. Run for 400 yards. Navy's going to try to run 45, 50 times to shut them down. And if they pop one over the top with Horvath on a passing play, tip the cap, move on, get the ball back, run it again every single down. Don't overthink it, and get in and get out. That's all you got to do. And you don't have to win this game and cover the spread. Just get in and get out.
Can you bet on the length of games? Is that something that you could potentially bet on? Because if we're talking about Navy running the ball 50 times and Notre Dame running the ball 50 times, this might be a 2.5-hour game.
I think the only time you can do that is the Super Bowl.
Yes, but to Brian's point, the Navy is going to start throwing the ball at some point, though. When they're down,
They do have a decent gadget player in Heidenreich, but that's literally all they have outside.
Yeah.
They literally have nothing else.
No. Good luck. I'll have this game off by the end of the first. All right. Then the last game that we're going to talk about here in the main game is Texas A&M at Mizzou. This game is Saturday the 8th at 2:30 p.m. on ABC. A&M -7, over under 48.5. A&M making a case to be the best team in the SEC at 8-0. Mizzou on life support and bandage wrap. They are 6-2. And we're going to let no one go first here. And then Bryant and I, of course, probably dissect this game a little deeper than most people would.
Listen, we're going to do this the same way that we did in the preview of the SEC. I'm just going to lead this off. I don't really like this matchup for Mizzou. I'm not a fan of the A&M versus Mizzou matchup here. I think Mizzou does not stack up well against them. So I'm going to let you guys sway me. I have my opinion. We're going to do it just like the preview of the SEC, where I let you guys sway me on the over-under here.
Bryant, go ahead.
So from my standpoint, I really truly don't know what to think from Mizzou's side. I agree with Nolan. This is a tough matchup on defense. Texas A&M can beat you in a multitude of ways. They're good at running the ball. They have two exceptional wide receivers. And Marcel Reed can do it through the air and with his legs. So they're going to score points, and they're going to have to play a full game, Mizzou will, on defense, because Texas A&M is really good at adjusting at halftime and coming out with something different in the second half. We've seen a lot of their games being really tight up until about the start of the fourth quarter, and then they pull away. On the offensive side of the ball, I truly don't know what to think, because Zollers is obviously a much better passer than Bo Perbula was. He's not the runner. And I think that might be a good thing for them. Granted, he's a true freshman. We're going to have to throw the ball a little bit more, and I think he's better at it. But I like the fact that he's not as much of a runner, so they're going to have to get the ball to their really good running back and Ahmad Hardy to get those yards on the ground. So I think that can be good from that standpoint. Now, I think this game comes down to Mizzou's offensive line. Can they protect and let the pass develop? And can they block this really good defensive line from Texas A&M and be able to run the ball? If they can, it's going to be a really close game, I think. And if Mizzou can throw the ball with Zollers, he looked really effective against Vandy. But A&M's defense is a lot better, I think, than Vandy's defense. So I truly don't know what to think in this game. It being at home for Mizzou helps. Slowly becoming a really tough place to play in the SEC. But Texas A&M is really, they're not exceptional at anything, but they're really good at it. Like they're above average at everything, but they're not going to eye pop you at anything. So they're going to play a disciplined game. They're going to do what they do, and who's going to stop it?
What I get nervous about if I'm a Mizzou fan here is Marcel Reed. And I'll be the first to admit it. We admit here when we're wrong. We're not like other networks where we try to flip our stance and say, oh, I feel this way now. I was wrong. Marcel Reed is a very good dual threat quarterback. I had a lot of concerns about him throwing the football coming into this season. He has proved me wrong, and I have no problem admitting that. Here's where, if I'm Mizzou's defense, they are very good at rushing the passer. But Mizzou's secondary is very vulnerable at looking in at dual threat quarterbacks and getting caught over the top. If I'm Mizzou's defense coming out of this bye, the one thing that I preached all bye week, if I'm the defensive coordinator and Corey Batoon, is just keep the play in front of you. Just keep the play in front of you. Make them be methodical down the field. Don't let them have explosives. And when Mizzou gives up points defensively, it's explosives. Think back to the Bama game. Think back to the South Carolina game. Think back to the Vandy game when they pounce an 80 or 85-yard rush outside. Whether the officials missed the calls or not, Mizzou's defense allowed an 80 to 85-yard rushing touchdown. They get beat by explosive plays. Keep the play in front of you. Let our defensive line work. And we might generate an even bigger pass rush than we already have. So that's what I'm doing if I'm Mizzou's defense coming out of this bye. Also, they have played so many dual threat quarterbacks now, they should have a really good game plan for dual threat quarterbacks. So, I mean, you should be able to have this coached up in the right direction coming out of the bye. If I'm Mizzou's offense, I don't know. I don't know. Where I think Mizzou struggles offensively is I think our play calling from Kirby Moore is complete ass at times. I think they overthink the hell out of what they have going on. I think they have layups given to them, and they hit the front of the rim. Like, I feel like they really screw up a lot of easy things because they overthink it. Dude, who cares if the whole stadium knows it's 4th and 1 and Hardy's getting the ball? Who cares? Don't beat Pete Carroll in the Super Bowl. Who cares? Give it to him. If they stop it, tip the cap. You gave your best player and your best chance to convert that first down the chance. You lost. They were better than you on that play. Move on. But when you overthink it and you do some of these dumb things and you go back and you review these games and you look at it, you're like, why did they do that? Why did Kirby Moore do that? So don't do those things. Allow Hardy to be efficient. Allow him to be the guy that we brought him here to be, that he was in the beginning of the season. And I also think Zollers is a better passer than Perbula. I think that could play into Mizzou's hand a little bit. This game's at home. Like I said, you're coming out of a bye. You should have a hell of a game plan ready to go for him. Keep it simple in the beginning. He has the arm strength. I'm telling you, he has some of the most serious zip on the football in the SEC of all quarterbacks right now. He can absolutely gas it up and get it where it needs to go in tight windows. But also, don't ask him to do too much early. Let him get comfortable. Let him get his feet wet. Have some slants. Have some curl routes. Have some shallow underneath stuff. Your playmakers at receiver are really good. Get them the ball. Let them do their thing. I also think if Norfleet plays, I really preach on Norfleet because I really preach on when quarterbacks aren't that great or they're young, you need a good possession tight end, and he's that guy. So I hope he plays in this football game because that plays a huge role for them. To Brian's point, that Texas A&M defense is really good.
But you can score on them. I mean, they gave up 42 points to Arkansas. Granted,
They're probably a better passing attack than we are at this point right now, I would say.
That's for sure. So there's points to be had out there from the Mizzou side for sure. It's just can they put it together? But like you said, and kind of like I said too, I think Zoller starting kind of opens it up a little bit because he can throw it better. And then he's also not a runner like Bo is. So we're not going to see those design QB runs. They're going to be runs with the ball in Hardy's hand. So
I think you still see A&M do what most teams have done in conference play to Mizzou in the first half of this game. Because to your point, A&M is arguably the best second half adjusted team in college football. I think they're still going to have 8 in the box, like most teams have against Mizzou so far in conference play, and truly make Mizzou prove that Zollers is that guy that can throw the football. And then you're going to see them in the second half maybe knock it back a little bit and fall back into some zone coverage stuff that makes Zollers read a defense. And that's where it could get ugly. Because I think if he can get the ball out quick, I think they can score points in the first half.
But I truly think this is probably the toughest game that A&M has played in the leagues thus far in the SEC.
This is not easy for them.
No. And this is up there with Auburn, probably the best defense they've played as well. So it's not going to be an easy game, but they definitely have the advantage, I feel like A&M does, as far as how they've been playing and then not being the injury problems.
If you're A&M, you wish Perbula was still playing. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Because you know what that team looks like.
And another thing that made me chuckle, and Drink kind of said it in his press conference, like he's already prepared for Marcelo Reed one time. He prepared for him last year.
Yeah.
He ended up not starting, so at least we know it's him this time. And he can prepare for him again. So
that's what I would say.
I truly don't know what to think. It's the question mark with Zollers and what the offense looks like with him is the big question mark.
So no one still A&M -7?
Still A&M. I just got more questions about Mizzou than A&M at this point. I mean, I liked a lot of you guys' points, but if A&M just stacks the box and you stop Ahmad Hardy, it's like you said, it comes down to Zollers. And also, Brian, I was looking up some of his scouting report out of high school. He might be a better runner than you're giving him credit for. A lot of the scouts were describing him as bouncy, not like lightning quick, not like fast twitch, but bouncy to me doesn't seem like he's just like the slow plotter like Tom Brady or like Peyton Manning was. He's probably not a design quarterback run, but he's good movement in the pocket. He'll get you 5 when the play breaks down and he's got to get a couple yards.
Yeah, I would say you compare him as far as making plays with his leg, kind of like a Ty Simpson type guy. Like he's not Nussmeier where he's a strictly pocket passer, but he's not Taylon Green either.
Literally the same 2 guys I was going to use. He's not Nussmeier.
He's not even Bo Perbula. Like Bo's a runner, but Zollers has some zip for sure.
You're also not running Zollers a ton in this football game. Coming off an ankle injury in high school where he sat out this whole senior season, and you're on your 3rd string quarterback. It is keep this guy upright and don't let him take a ton of licks and get the ball out quick.
If Northeast's playing, which it's trending to where he's going
to.
So that helps, but Mizzou's still got some guys on the outside that can make some plays.
Oh,
we need to get a Lubade in there more.
yes.
And Kevin Coleman is as reliable gets. And you still got Marquise Johnson out there that can beat you over the top too. So if they get it rolling, Mizzou can score some points in this game if we get it rolling and Zollers is playing a good game.
I said this preseason, there's a real case Mizzou's receiving core this year is better than they were last year. They just got to get the opportunities.
Yeah.
Also, bright spot, if Zollers turns out to be a pretty good passer and Lubade is staying, that could be a real good passing game for the next couple of years.
Yeah, and Hardy's still around? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, enough on that one. We do have a quickie here. I think this is Nolan. You wanted this one?
Yep, I did.
All right, buddy, give it to us. Vanderbilt versus Auburn. Tell us what you got here.
I wanted to put this in because I'm calling my shot here. I think Auburn's going to take Vandy down.
Do it.
I love it.
That's why I had to add in. I mean, we've seen Vandy against a couple teams now just really sputter against a good defensive line. You saw it against Mizzou. They had the one big play. You saw it against Texas. Yes, they scored a lot of points, but most of those were in the fourth quarter. It's garbage time type stuff. Auburn's defensive line is on par with Mizzou and with Texas's defensive line. So I think they're just going to kind of take it to Vandy, and Vandy's not going to be able to do much unless for some reason Pavia can throw in this game. I think that would be the only X factor. If Pavia figures out he can throw, that's what we're kind of looking at. Then the Auburn side of the ball, we just watched Texas score on a screenplay, first like 2 plays of the game. Get the ball out to your best athletes in space and let them work. That's all you have to do. We just saw the entire blueprint of how to put up 24 on them in the first quarter and a half. Just do exactly what Texas did, and let's see what happens. They don't have the guys to match up with you on the outside. So I'm calling the shot here. Auburn over Vandy this weekend.
No Hugh, baby. Make the team better.
What if he was just the problem all along? They have good athletes, both sides of the ball.
We
talked about early in the season. Coleman and Singleton are probably on paper the best duo and two of the best duos in the country for that matter, and just hasn't came to fruition.
Did you see any of the interim head coach interviews this week?
I did not. No.
So he made it a huge point. They were talking about who's going to call offensive plays. He called the offensive coordinator by name. He said he will call it on first down, second down, third down. He will be our only play caller.
I'm telling you, dude, that came into play more than people think. Seriously. It was why they were so bad. He
was taking some shots at Hugh Freeze. He's like, hey, I did not agree with anything. Maybe not anything. Did not agree with how this guy was running the team. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to do it like a normal football team from here on out.
Yeah, and Auburn's defense is legit.
They're good.
Legit.
They're too good to be this bad.
Mm-hmm.
Their offensive playmakers are too good to be this bad.
Yep.
We'll see. I like it. I'm with it. I'm to your point. I'm taking this with you. I'll take it. I'm not scared. All right, Nolan. It's been real. It's been fun. We'll bring you back after the Book It segment, man.
Yes, sir.
See you. Bye. All right, Brian. You know what that means, brother.
Let's go.
It is time to get into the Book It segment. And, hey, we're 58-58, for those of you that don't know. We scratched and clawed. We fought our way, and we found it.
Dude, we had
parity. Most of these networks aren't positive units at all this season, and here we are, 58-58, scratching and clawing.
We had an 8-5 week with 2 of the worst beats. These are the 2 worst beats of the season last week.
Oh,
man. It was even posted on Twitter.
Each other,
literally,
dude.
It was posted on Barstool. If you had somebody take these 2 bets, check in on them, and it was on our Book It segment.
If you had Georgia -6 and Cal +5.5, check on your buddy that had both those games. And Deep Threat Sports Network was your buddy that had both of those games. I mean, we are in a real scenario, Bryant, where we could be talking about a 10-3 week.
Absolutely,
it could have been a 10-3 week.
It should have been.
Legitimately should have been. And we joked about it all season long. My brother jokes about it with me when he texts me. We've had the worst beats all season long that anybody's ever seen. It's crazy.
The fact that we're at 500 is really good because personally, we could easily be, 15 games over.
Yeah, without a doubt,
We
man.
just had some breaks, but
There's only one game I can recall that we had a break actually go our way, like where we stole one that we probably shouldn't have got. And you and I were going apeshit about it. Like, hey, we finally got one.
Yeah, but it's been one.
Just one, man. But you know how we do things here. We shop these books and we buy these hooks. So make sure you're doing that out there. We're shopping the book, try to get the best lines to you all. But hey, man, we got to have another hot week. Now that we're back to 500, we can't slip now. The going is all in our hands, Bryant. So let's give the people what they want here and let's get after it. The first game that we have here is Northwestern at USC. We are going to lay them and take USC minus 14. Feel like that Nebraska game kind of drug them in the mud a little bit. They need to get that confidence going again and really lay the wood with that passing attack that USC has. USC minus 14, book it.
Next one, we got Tulane at Memphis. We talked about this earlier on in the show. We do think Memphis is the much better team. Tulane's been struggling as of late. Memphis has a point to prove to stay in the driver's seat in the G5 for the most part. So we're going to take Memphis minus 3 at home. We're going to book it.
Indiana at Penn State. Penn State has nothing going for them. They got beat down last week. I feel like that, and I know Indiana coming to town is going to hype them up a little bit, but I feel like last week was their last real big one to get up for. And there's a real case where this Indiana team could be just as good, if not better, than Ohio State. So give us Indiana minus 14. Book it.
Next one, we got Georgia, Mississippi State. First half under, was that? Yeah,
28.5.
Both these teams tend to kind of start out slow, lean on their defense early before they can figure it out on the offensive side of the ball. We think to see that happening in this game as well. So we're going to take the under 28.5 in the first half, and we're going to book it.
Ohio State at Purdue. This football game is not going to be close, but there's no way Purdue slows down this Ohio State offense. At this point, it's about making statements. Give us that Ohio State team total over 37.5. Book it.
Next one we also talked about earlier. It's going to be a knockdown, drag out in the mud type game, but we got Oregon minus 6 on the road in Iowa City against the Hawkeyes. We're going to book Oregon as the favorite there at minus 6.
Hey, you heard Nolan when we were talking about this earlier, and he said, man, I think it's going to be a close one. Mid-game analysis, he comes back and says, I just don't think Iowa's going to be able to do much. Give us Oregon big. Oregon minus 6, baby. Iowa State at TCU. I tell you what, Brian, it's the last time we're going to take Iowa State if they don't cover for us on this one. They're going to be on the no-bet list. They are teetering on the line. But, man, they have so much more, I feel like, at this point to prove and kind of get up and punch and don't stop punching because they have to at this point. Iowa State plus 7. Book it.
Next one, we're going out to the East Coast here. We got Georgia State at Coastal Carolina. We got Coastal Carolina minus 7. Not a whole lot in this game, but Georgia State is a really bad football team, and Coastal Carolina has played decent this season. So we felt like this line was kind of pretty shy for them being at home against a subpar team. So we're taking the Chanticleers minus 7 at home.
Hey, this is one of those where like I thought you were going to go like full Delaware mode on Georgia State, and I'm looking real forward to this. Hey, we had a comment come in from Marty. Iowa State will crumble like a rust pile of shit. Hey, if they do, there's a backstory to this, so I love it. But if they do, Marty, Iowa State will never be bet again on this show, I can promise you. So let's hope they don't crumble like a rust pile.
We don't make this public, but we do have a ban list. So they would make an appearance on that if they don't cover plus 7, but we think they do this week.
They will be in bold, italicized, and underlined.
Yeah,
Wake Forest at Virginia. We saw no one's not here so we can say it, a not-so-good Florida State team beat the brakes off a Wake Forest football team. Virginia has more to play for and more to prove right now. Mm-hmm. And they aren't going to give Wake Forest a puncher's chance. So give us Virginia minus 6 to take care of business. Book it.
Next one, we have an SEC matchup that it doesn't have as luster like we thought it maybe would at the beginning of the season. We didn't think Kentucky would be that great, but we thought Florida would be playing for something this game. They really aren't. But they're on the road in Lexington. As the game stands, they're like a 3.5-point favorite. But we're going to take Kentucky to cover the first half at plus 2.5 points. So we're going to take this game's going to be close at half, and we're going to roll with Kentucky first half plus 2.5.
Hey, that's a game that you don't watch, you just bet it. Don't watch it. It's going to get a little dicey at times. Florida has no receivers. DJ Lagway's been less than impressive. Kentucky, baby. Mark
And
Stoops.
Kentucky's been playing some close games as of late. They're not a quitter team. And
They're
Mark
not afraid to
Stoops
fight.
is a good coach, and so they're gonna play a good football game. They've been playing well at home. I mean, they almost beat Texas. Should have beat Texas. So and then they took care of Auburn last week.
Next one we're going to take here, Navy at Notre Dame. Talked about this earlier. Can Navy really slow down Notre Dame? I don't think so. Bryant doesn't think so, a.k.a. we don't think so. So give us Notre Dame team total over 40.5. Fellas, that is high, but don't be scared of it. We said earlier they're going to rush for 400 yards, and I mean it when I say it. Notre Dame team total over 40.5. Book it.
Last week we had UNLV on there. They did not prevail for us.
Last chance for them too, Bryant.
Yes, this is also one that is a ban list or go type game for us here on the show. We got UNLV at Colorado State. UNLV -4. I think Colorado State is probably worse than the New Mexico team that they played last week. Can UNLV do anything on offense? And I think they can in this game. They are a much better team than they played last week. So we're taking UNLV -4 on the road.
Book it. Colorado State is horrible.
Yes,
horrible.
Not good.
They are a horrible football team. So the only thing I'm nervous about, Bryant, that we did this week, and it's just because we didn't like that many, so we stuck with 12. We didn't do our lucky number 13 like we have been here recently, but we got 12, and I feel really good about it. So honestly, let's just have us like I don't know, 7-5, 8-4 week. Let's just keep that head above water, and then we'll gain some more traction.
Let's get it 500.
I like the way this thing's trending, and we've had a couple really good weeks here recently, piecing things together. So that's what we have for on the booking segment this week. We'll bring Nolan back in. Nolan, hey, man, how's it going?
Listen, I heard what you said.
Which one? Which part?
About Florida State. Come on.
Hey, it's the truth. The truth sometimes stings.
Don't kick me while I'm down.
You shouldn't be. You beat Wake Forest, dude. Should be up.
Down on the year, brother.
Yeah, down bad, dude. Down bad. Bryant and I were wrong about giving you the benefit of the doubt on this Florida State win total. You were right the whole time. You were right the whole time. You were right, man. We were wrong.
Ask Bryant what I said after the first game last year. I said, season's over, pack it up. And everybody laughed at me. And look what happened.
It wasn't even halftime.
They shouldn't have unpacked yet. They should still have it packed up. Anything else on this slate for the weekend, boys?
No,
I will be watching all these games from the deer stand.
There you go. It should be a good weekend for that, too. Make sure you're getting your Deep Threat Sports Network gear out there. Make sure you're commenting, and we'll get you taken care of if you win that award for us. Like, subscribe, comment, do all those things. Tell us how great we are in the comments, or tell us how bad we suck. Either one, we're going to pick our favorite. So make sure you're doing that so we can reward you with some good stuff out there. Hey, you can follow us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Deep Threat Sports, XDT_sports_, Facebook, Deep Threat Sports Network. Hey, that's Bryant. That's Nolan. I'm Colin. Till next time, gents. Peace.